Hal Anderson on 680 CJOB.
All right, Winnipeg real estate agent Frank Versace is here. Hi, Frank.
Hey, Hal, how are you doing? Nice to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. Okay, the new numbers are out, and the real estate market in Winnipeg in the month of May, last month, not great.
No. It's kind of disappointing. The market, the numbers, according to the Winnipeg Realtors Association, the market is down in May. It's about 11% down. So, that's kind of a telling sign. We were hoping for May to be an upward month, catching up from the previous down months, but unfortunately, it's down.
Yeah, because May really, right now, May, June, those are the hot months, right?
Well, typically May and June, if I were to sort of draw a bell curve for you of the market, May and June would be the pinnacle peak months of the year. So that's where we're expecting highest dollar volume, highest unit sales, highest activity, and unfortunately, we're just not seeing it.
Yeah, and if last month May was down 11%. We'll see. I don't imagine that is a good indicator going forward this summer.
Well, we'll see. I mean, June, they talked a little bit about, we just had a brokers meeting yesterday, and they talked a little bit about why was the market down. And, somebody said, the Jets fever was on in May.
Oh, yeah, interesting.
And so people were, every second night there was a game on, and maybe they took some time away from looking for a home. But, June is going to be clear sailing. I mean, it should be the best month of the year. We're hoping to see some catch up from the year to date. I mean, year to date numbers show that we're down about 8%. So, if June can come on strong, hopefully we make up some of those numbers, and then we end the year strong. I mean, so we're only just about halfway through, and I think we've gotten the next part of the year that hopefully we can start doing some catch up.
But prices are hanging in there.
Prices are hanging in there. A lot of people like to see, what are homes selling for, percentage to list. And if we look at the stats, you've got about 28% of the homes still selling above list price. So that's a great sign for sellers. If you're the shiniest apple of the bunch and you've taken your home and priced it correctly, got a great realtor negotiating on your behalf, and it shows really well, you can still expect a lot of buyer demand. So 28% are selling above list, 7% are selling at list, and unfortunately there are the 65% selling below list,
right.
But that's good for buyers, right? Now buyers are going to be excited about hearing that, right? Because they're going to get a better deal.
And you are seeing, depending on the property, you are seeing multiple offers.
That's right. Yeah. Like I say, 28% of the homes that hit the market are actually getting more than their list price, 28% of the time in May.
But it's got to be a nice place.
It's got to look great. It's got to show great. It's got to be marketed great. So those are the things that are really important. As a seller, you want to make sure that, like I say, you're the shiniest apple in the bunch, and you're really attracting that buyer demand.
You mentioned Jets fever as a possible reason May was down.
Yeah.
But I'm sure the stress test is part of it, right?
Yeah. So there's something called a stress test. And for people who don't know what that is.
Explain that, yeah.
Yeah, people who don't know what that is. Basically, previously you would go into a bank or a mortgage broker and they would offer you like a discount rate. So, the posted rate, might be 5.5%, but nobody's ever going to pay the posted rate. You're going to pay the discounted rate. The discount rate might be 3.5%. Well, what the banks have done, and previously this happened on insured mortgages. Insured means you're putting less than 20% down,
right.
And CMHC is involved.
Yeah.
So in the past, you would the stress test would apply, meaning you would get qualified at 5.5% versus the discounted rate of 3.5%. And whatever you could qualify at 5.5%, that's what they gave your mortgage amount on. Now, you weren't going to pay that, but that's what they use as the quote-unquote stress test.
Right.
As of January 2018, they've now extended the stress test to properties that are uninsured. So if you're putting more than 20% down, you're still going to have to qualify on that stress test.
Yeah.
And so what they're trying to do, because Toronto and Vancouver, of course, markets are just shooting up.
Prices were going high, yeah.
Yeah, they want to cool those markets down, and unfortunately, we're in the middle, and we get caught in the fire, right? So the stress test definitely has an effect on removing buying power, and that removes some of the demand out of the market, and of course, that's going to have an effect on prices and activity.
Any other reasons that might be a factor here?
Yeah, I think we've had, the impact fee, right? So, City of Winnipeg here comes out with the impact fee on new construction. And so that has an effect. It increases the cost of property, especially on new construction. Yeah. So anytime you increase prices on anything, that's going to have an effect on demand. We're just a supply and demand market like any other market.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's look at some other interesting parts of the main numbers here.
Sure.
Condos. They're starting to move a little faster now.
Condos, typically, what we saw at the beginning of the year, condos were very, very slow. So we were seeing a lot of, when I say slow, I'm talking about days on market. In real estate, we talk about the acronym DOM.
Yeah.
One of the questions that buyers always ask is, hey, Frank, how long has this property been on the market? And the real intention they're trying to get to is, can I get a better deal?
Yeah.
So for condos, in the month of March, it was taking on average about 54 days to get a condo sold. Well, in April, that started to come down to 42 days. And then in May, we're now seeing it's at 34 days, which is a little bit more reasonable.
Yeah.
Condos, it's a bit slower out there, but it has been picking up pace throughout the year here.
And interesting, month of May, the highest sale, $1.2 million. The lowest sale, $35,000. Now, really, $35,000, that's a home?
$35,000 residential detached. Yeah. Just, what happens is it just shows the real diversity of the Winnipeg real estate market, that we've got some nice high-end properties and then, all the way right through to $35,000. Yeah. I think on average, our average list price is just sitting over $300,000. And that's a good indication. So if you're a first-time buyer, you're wanting to buy a property in today's market, a lot of people say, on average, what am I going to pay, citywide? And you're going to pay around $300,000. So when you go to your bank, you want to get your pre-approval. They're going to do their stress test, of course, and you want to see where that number comes in. If you're in around that 300,000 number, you're at a good cross section of the market, and we're seeing a lot of demand in that range. So,
last question: Are you worried with May down 11%? Are you worried going forward, Frank, as a real estate agent?
As a realtor, I'm not. There's always demand. There's always a reason why people are going to buy, why they're going to sell. People are getting downsized or they're upsized. Maybe they're getting a divorce, unfortunately, or they need more room. They've just had a child. There's so many reasons why people want to buy and sell real estate, and there's a lot of transactions that are happening. To me, again, I look at days on market, 26 days to get a house sold. I look at percentage selling above list, 28%, almost a third of the market still selling above,
for more than what they're asking.
Selling for more. So those are strong signs. I think June's going to be a good month. I think we're going to close out the year really, really strong, in my opinion.
Excellent. Frank, thanks for doing this. Website, people want to get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can reach me online at www.versacerealestate.com.
Frank, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Winnipeg real estate agent Frank Versace. May down 11% in the Winnipeg real estate market. Hopefully that downward trend does not continue.
Hal Anderson on 680 CJOB.